shield pressure really brutal, I think. And those two things together, the lasers when you're far away and the shield pressure when you're close, just makes it feel extremely suffocating for Falcon.
No matter where you are.
Yes.
No matter where you are.
It really does feel like there's no escape. And sometimes when you watch Wizzy play against like top level Falcos, he's low-key just like rolling for his life just to try and get out and get his punish going.
And we're seeing from myst in this opening the way that they're going to be dealing with this laser. They're doing this kind of like reacting to the laser and then doing this little like dash forward, dash back, and then like to time their power shield. I like that. I like that. I'm a big sucker for power shields, so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Yeah.
That's a really fundamental counterplay to lasers that you really have to have on deck, almost no matter which character you are, just because being able to reflect it. It's just, you know, I don't think that needs an explanation of how good that is. You know, you just kind of give him a taste of his own medicine, right? But yeah, we're seeing myst, you know, dealing with this pretty well so far. I think that, like, again, what we were talking about, that punish game is going to really be what keeps you in the game, because Falco is a very fragile character. And so far, even though Belgish has put on a lot of good pressure, myst has been able to punch hard enough to, you know, keep these stocks even so far.
And we're seeing that anytime that that Belgish seems to get, you know, lock Falcon down, always going in with that nair every single time. Yes. And I think myst seems like keen enough in, you know, how they get their openings that I think we might see them, you know, take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah, the thing about the nair is it is really good, but you really, as Falco, you don't want to get too caught in any one aerial. The nair is amazing in the sense that it actually is even safer on shield than the down air. I think it's 0 if you do it low enough. For those who aren't aware, that's frame advantage. You know, it's completely neutral, but Falco has shine, so 0 ends up being good for him. But anyway, nair's really good on shield, but the thing is, nair's not that great on crouch cancel. So that's when you kind of have to mix in those down airs to beat Falcon's crouch cancel, which is very good because he's very heavy. So yeah, don't want to get too caught up in one aerial and one kind of approach, you know, timing or you know, move. You know, that's going to give myst the reads that they need to actually get these big punishes going.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's been pretty even so far. I feel like, you know, this is pretty typical of the matchup. You know, Falco has Falcon locked down for the most part, but then the way that Falcon's going to win is just when you do get those hits taken to the bank.
Make them count. Make them count.
Myst has especially been getting pretty good a deal of edge guards so far, which is really nice to see. Falcon for a long time was not seen as like you know, the greatest edgeguard character, and I think that recently the Falcons in the last, like, you know, I mean, I guess not that recently, but you know, since like 2018, 2019, been really leveling up in that. Yeah, we got last stock in this first game, and this is pretty important. The counter picks are pretty big here for Falco, so being able to get that first game is pretty big.
And there's different, you know, schools of thought with you know, which counter pick you go to, what stage, and like what kind of game plan, you know, springs forth from that selection. So we got like Yoshi's Story, you know, lock him down, you know, big hit boxes, up tilt back air, you know, kind of control the stage. And we also got FD, you know, using, like you said, those B moves to no matter where Falcon is, and, you know, that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and the punish game on this stage is absolutely brutal.
Absolutely,
You don't have a chain grab. Of course, Falco never has a chain grab. Except for in the pit against Fox with down throw, it's kind of, you have a cheesy kind of chain grab, but that's not the matchup we're talking about. But it almost feels like you do in this matchup sometimes if the Falco is really on point with the shine game, because those pillar combos can be so brutal, and even at low percent you can just do shine for you know, up until like 30 or something.
Absolutely.
And so the combination of no platforms to get around these lasers, the Falcon recovery being nerfed because there's nowhere for you to go in terms of platforms, and that punish game is going to make, you know, this a very desirable stage for Belgish. But yeah, wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if we see, you know, Yoshi's later on in the set, or even FOD, which is kind of a similar kind of thought process. But yeah, if you're myst right now, I think, oh, nice. I like the side B going underneath the laser. But yeah, I think myst is doing a good job of like not being too predictable when they get put in pressure. Like you said, we're doing those kind of like power shields, you know, dash back, dash forward, doing some jump over the lasers, doing some wave dash at a shield, like right there, and mixing in the rolls there as well. And I feel like Belgish has not been able to get a great read on when myst is trying to do each one of those. Because of course, if you can read that out of shield option or that out of pressure option, then you can get a big punish going. So great stuff from myst for, you you know, mixing that up, but we'll see if Belgish is able to adapt and kind of follow those options a little bit more.
And even more so than, you know, we were saying previously, that like what characterizes Falcon winning in this matchup, he's got to make it count. And with the, you know, the punish game buff for Falco, it's like you really got to make everything count as Falcon on this stage, because
you got to be moving like Wizzy on this stage for sure.
You got to terminate.
Yes, you need to terminate.
You need to be the Terminator for sure.
Yeah, and it's I don't think that myst has really been showing that kind of like RTC kind of style as much, which is another reason why I feel like Belgish is you know, doing so well on this counter pick, because I think an amazing combo there, gets it down there, cleans it out, you know, pretty solidly. But yeah, I think that that stage worked out really well because myst was not as much of that RTC demon, more so trying to get like a 1 or 2 tech chases into a move, into an edge guard, into, you know, everything like that. But FD being such a long stage, really wasn't setting up for that as well.
Absolutely.
And then obviously buffed Belgish's combos as well. So yeah, 1-1. Falcon gonna go to another big stage, but you have the platforms this time, which makes all the difference in the world. Because now you have the platforms for recovery, you have you can, you know, even add, you know, tech chase onto the platforms. You can get out of those pillar combos sometimes. It's a big boon. And go on.
And a lot of times the way you're gonna kill, you know, Falco is it's an edge guard with like kind of any character. So like, you know, the blast zones being larger kind of just helps most characters against Falco.
It doesn't really matter, because if you think about it, like Falco's recovery, like it's explosive, but it's not that long. Right? You don't have that super long Fox up B, and so like if you were gonna kill off the side on this stage on Falco from another stage, they're probably not gonna be able to make it back anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like right there, like technically didn't die immediately, but there's no chance of Falco making it back from that.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, the stage making a huge difference so far. Battlefield being quite close, FD going really in Belgish's favor, and then this is being a really strong starter for, you know, myst here with these first couple stocks.
Great SDI to, you know, kind of stop the bleeding on what could have been a really big combo for the Falco.
Yeah, that's a perennial thorn in Falco's side these last
SDI
like
on
10
the
years.
Down air and laser, just get out of all the shine follow-ups.
Yeah, back in 2015, those combos were 100% guaranteed. No way to get out of it. Put down your controller. Nowadays, not so much. I like that dash back out of the laser into the pivot.
Instant,
that was huge. Because a lot of Falcos will want to like do a laser and then do a jump right after. And so if you're able to make space and then throw out that aerial, it can really stuff out a lot of those approaches. But yeah, we're gonna see a lot of this, you know, kind of like attack and then be kind of tempered from myst, right? You know, you try to make something happen, but you can't really like continuously put up the pressure against a character so fast as Falco. So there's gonna be a lot of like, you know, attempt and then shield, or attempt and then CC, or something like that. You know, some sort of defensive option. Like we're seeing right there.
Yep. Attempt and then, you know, air dodge out of the laser hit stun.
Belgish is all over myst right now, really making this comeback. We'll see what goes on this last stock. Okay, just kind of walling out, trying to hold center right now. Gets the roll in, but I think that was meant to be an up tilt. Gets it there though, so, you know, no harm, no foul. And this percent is not the worst for Falcon, but it really does set you up for a lot of edge guard opportunities. And Falco, we haven't talked about that as much, but Falco also has an amazing edge guard game on Falcon. You know, whenever you up B below, Falco pretty much always can hit that down air and either force you into tech, which is not even the best for you anyway, or just, you know, do something like that, catch you on stage with that back air.
Yeah. Falco has really good options when if Falcon just tries to go on stage, he has really good options for like, oh, I'm just going to stand still and just like wait for you to just land on stage, and then
And that's the thing with the pressure of that down air. It's not really like, you don't really give up that much by not covering ledge the way that you do with a lot of other characters. Because F smash reaches so far off stage, down air can reach onto ledge, and so you can kind of just stand on stage, shoot lasers, wait for them to come on, and then if they go to ledge, try to hit them with a down air, forward smash, down smash, whatever, right? So you don't really have to deal with it as much as other characters do, where you have to like go on ledge and then they go on a platform. That's kind of awkward, maybe after ledge dash, and you know, like right there, you know, you don't need to cover ledge with the grab.
No urgency. It's just
you can just down smash. And I think Belgish is you know, figuring that out and really is, you know, using it to their advantage right now. And I think that, like I was saying earlier, like Belgish has kind of made an adaptation where like is catching a lot more of these defensive options in these pressure situations, and you can already see like how much mileage that can give you because like the thing is, Falcon, like you need to do something, right? Because you can't just let yourself be pre-pressured and just sit there. And so if you're playing as Falco, you gotta really figure out like the timings and what they want to do and the habits and whatnot, because that's really when your opening happens. And then also just, I feel like Belgish has just not been overextending nearly as much, and just whenever they have center, just really holding it with those lasers, those forward tilts, those back airs, almost a shoeless-esque, player from our region.
Absolutely.
That you guys saw in the dock set earlier.
And like we harped on earlier in the set that like, Falcon got to make these count, got to make the openings count, and it feels like as the set's going on that like it's a little more drops on the punish game.
Yeah.
Not taking everything to the bank.
Yeah, I think myst really, and with that back throw as well, really feeling the pressure of being down 2-1.
Yeah.
Gets the first game on Battlefield, has a really good start on the Dreamland game on game 3, and then Belgish is able to claw it back, and I feel like that is just really tough on the mental stack, right? Because it's like, damn, that was my counter pick. Like, I should have won that or whatever, right? And you can't let those thoughts permeate in your head, because if you're focusing too much on the past, you're just going to drop things in the present.
Absolutely. I also think, myst not being like maybe the tech chase demon.
Yeah.
It's kind of, as a set progresses with time, defensively, it becomes easier to like get a handle on like, oh, you're gonna try and read my tech in over and over again.
Yeah, the RTC, there's not really much of a response to that. You kind of just need to mix it up and hope that they like aren't able to follow it. Whereas like if they're going for more reads, then a smart player will like kind of see what they're reading from you and then try to adapt to that and mix it up.
It's an opportunity to make like an informed decision about what you're going to do, rather than just like, oh, I hope that like I mix them up well enough.
Yeah, and this is the beauty of best of 5. Like Belgish went down that first game, but is able to really make some big adaptations and is only a hit or two away from sealing the set. Yeah, that's probably gonna do it. I don't think Falcon can even make it back theoretically there, as long as you just hold ledge. So yeah, great stuff from Belgish. That first game, going pretty well for myst. Able to clutch it out, and then again started out pretty well in that game 3. But I feel like we were talking about, Belgish just made some really good adaptations throughout the set, and that really was what was going to be able to make the difference there. And like you said, yeah, like just a little bit less of a consistent style.